Chapter 8. Published by Chereds. Shang and Wen Xia's ordeal. Wen Xia took Shang to a nearby hotel, quickly arranged for a room, and carried her inside. Shang was burning with fever. Concerned, Wen Xia immediately called for a doctor, who arrived promptly, examined her, and prescribed some medicine before leaving. Wen Xia sat by her bedside, diligently applying a damp cloth to her forehead and giving her the prescribed medicine. Slowly, the fever subsided, but Shang remained asleep. Exhausted, Wen Xia dozed off in the chair next to her. Morning arrived with the gentle light of the rising sun. Shang opened her eyes and found Wen Xia still sitting by her side, asleep. Careful not to wake him, she sat up slowly, her throat dry and parched. Reaching for a glass of water, she drank it quietly. Afterward, she straightened her clothes and decided to take a walk outside. The cool morning air greeted her as she stepped out. Her mind was restless, filled with fragments of her dream and the events of the previous days. No matter how hard she tried, she couldn't make sense of it all. Anxiety began to creep in. Suddenly, she felt a hand on her shoulder from behind. Startled, she let out a scream and instinctively reached for her sword, ready to defend herself. Shang, it's me. Wen Xia's voice cut through her fear. She froze, realizing it was him. Seeing her shaken, Wen Xia asked gently, "What's wrong? Are you feeling okay?" Shang quickly changed the subject, avoiding his question. "What are you doing here?" "I should be asking you that," Wen Xia said. "What are you doing out here in this cold? Your fever has just gone down. If you catch a cold, it could return, and we have a long journey ahead." Before she could argue, Wen Xia guided her back to the room. He called for the hotel staff and ordered breakfast for the two of them. They ate in silence, the morning sun now fully illuminating the world outside. After finishing, Wen Xia said, "The weather looks good now. We should head out toward Mount Everest." Agreeing, they prepared their horses and set off. A mysterious fog. As they traveled, the clear skies suddenly gave way to a dense fog. Mist engulfed the path ahead, making it impossible to see. In the confusion, they got separated. Wen Xia called out, "Shang, where are you?" But there was no response. His voice echoed into the void, and panic set in. Dismounting his horse, Wen Xia tried to use his magic to dispel the fog. He raised his sword, channeling his energy, but the mist remained stubborn. His strength started to fade, and he wondered, what kind of magic is this? Why isn't my power working? Meanwhile, Shang was equally distressed. She tried to shout for help, but no sound came from her throat. It felt as though an invisible hand was choking her. She struggled to make a sound but failed. Then, a haunting voice echoed through the fog. "Come to me. I can help you. Take my hand, and I will always be with you." The voice was chilling, and darkness surrounded her. Terrified, Shang began running toward the voice, unsure why. Suddenly, she screamed. Her voice broke through the oppressive silence, and as if by magic, the fog began to clear. Sunlight pierced through, bathing the surroundings in its golden warmth. Shang spotted Wen Xia lying unconscious in the distance. Without hesitation, she ran to him. "Master, are you okay?" she asked anxiously, kneeling beside him. Wen Xia opened his eyes slowly, his strength returning with the sunlight. "I'm fine," he reassured her. But how did the fog disappear so suddenly? Shang hesitated. She didn't want to explain what she had experienced or heard. If I tell him, what will he think of me? She wondered. Instead, she simply said, "I don't know, Master. But we should keep moving." Wen Xia nodded, and they resumed their journey. The sacred plant. After traveling a while longer, they reached a valley where the sacred plant they sought grew. Its vibrant green leaves shimmered in the sunlight, and Shang pointed to it excitedly. "Master, look, the plant. I'll go and pluck it." Wen Xia immediately stopped her. "No," he said firmly. "Wait here. I'll get it. It could be dangerous." Before she could protest, Wen Xia dismounted and cautiously approached the plant, his sword in hand. Chapter 9. Published by Chereds. The journey to Green Paradise Mountain. Shang insisted on accompanying Wen Xia, saying, "Let's go together." Wen Xia drew his sword and stood on it, holding it steady with one hand. With a command, he ordered the sword to take flight. Both of them sat on the sword, setting out for their journey. Soon, they arrived at Green Paradise Mountain. The mountain was eerily quiet, with no one in sight. Surrounded by towering peaks, they found themselves in a treacherous landscape. The spiritual power they had relied on no longer worked, and flying was no longer an option. They dismounted from the sword and continued on foot. Ahead, there was a narrow, broken stone path with a plant at the corner. As they moved forward, the stones began to crack beneath their feet, causing the ground to tremble. Holding hands for support, they carefully made their way along the dangerous path. Suddenly, small but powerful insects began to attack. Despite their small size, the creatures targeted their mouths, stinging fiercely and causing disorientation. Shang and Wen Xia struggled to fend them off when a thick mist suddenly enveloped them. Shang, overwhelmed by the fog, lost control and collapsed, tumbling down the narrow path toward the deep ditches below. Without hesitation, Wen Xia leapt after her, catching her just in time. He struggled to pull her up, but his grip began to slip. Together, they fought hard to climb back up. With great effort, they made it to safety. Wen Xia, though relieved, couldn't help but scold her. Be more careful. There shouldn't be any more problems like this. Shang, trembling but unscathed, retorted, What did I do wrong? I didn't ask for this. But Wen Xia remained unsympathetic. They continued their journey, finally reaching the plant. As soon as they broke it, stones began falling from above, blocking the path. The two of them sprinted to escape the falling debris, narrowly avoiding being trapped. Meeting Doming. On their way back, they encountered a young boy who appeared gravely ill. His legs were wounded, and Shang, ever compassionate, immediately offered her help. After tending to his injuries, they began talking, and the boy expressed his gratitude. I want to protect you, he said. Will you take me with you? Shang looked at Wen Xia for permission. Ask my master, she said. If he agrees, I'll take you with us. Otherwise, I can't. The boy, named Doming, was skilled in combat and very handsome. He didn't seem poor at all, dressed in fine clothes. Yet, he confessed, I'm from a wealthy family. But they disowned me because I chose to pursue art instead of the art of war. I wanted to follow my passion and become an artist, but they wanted me to perfect my martial skills. Wen Xia raised an eyebrow, assessing Doming's appearance. You don't look poor at all. Your clothes suggest you're from a noble family. And your martial skills are impressive. You must have been trained from a young age. Doming nodded. Yes, I was from a rich family. But I left because I wanted to follow my own path. I told them I didn't want to be a warrior. Now, I'm determined to achieve something on my own. I won't go back home until I've succeeded in my career. Shang laughed. So you're not interested in my master's skills after all. He can't teach you much. All he knows is swordsmanship. Wen Xia, visibly offended, snapped, I could also be an artist if I wanted to. What's so difficult about making art? I can become a great artist myself. Doming chuckled. All right, master. You're the best. They continued their banter as they made their way back home. Upon reaching their destination, Shang immediately prepared the medicine using the plant they had retrieved. She quickly administered it to Madame Li, hoping it would help her mother recover.
Chapter 10. Xiang and Madame Li's Reunion. Xiang carefully administered the medicine to Madame Li, and after some time, Madame Li regained consciousness. Seeing her mother awake, Xiang immediately hugged her tightly and said, From now on, never leave me again. Madame Li, still disoriented, began to cry softly. I'm fine, Xiang. Don't worry about me. How are you? Are you okay? She asked, her voice filled with concern. Xiang, still a bit angry, replied, I'm fine. Though her words didn't fully convey the worry she had been feeling. Xiang was indeed unharmed, except for a small injury on her hand. When Madame Li noticed the bandage on her daughter's hand, she asked, What happened to you? Xiang hesitated but didn't want to worry her mother further. It's nothing, just a small injury. It's already healed, she said, avoiding further details. Madame Li was still concerned. How did you get hurt? She pressed. Xiang paused, struggling with whether or not to share the truth. But she chose silence, deciding not to tell her mother anything for now. After a brief conversation, Jia entered the room and suggested that Madame Li rest. As Madame Li exited, her husband, Mr. Li rest, was waiting for her outside. He asked, "Why didn't you tell me everything? Where did you go?" Xiang, determined to protect her mother from worrying further, responded firmly, "I didn't want her to know, at least not yet. She's still weak." Mr. Li sighed, understanding but concerned. "If she finds out, she will be angry with me. She'll think I put you in danger. If anything happened to you, she would never forgive me." "Forget about it, Baba," Xiang replied, trying to calm him. "Nothing happened. Everything is fine now." Xiang then led her father to meet a boy she had brought along. "This boy wants to stay with us and learn from the master," she explained. Meanwhile, Doming had also arrived. He greeted Mr. Li politely and, after a moment of silence, asked, "Please, allow me to stay. I can do a lot for you." At first, Mr. Li politely hesitated, but seeing the boy's persistence, he finally agreed. "All right," Mr. Li said. "You can stay here, but you will live in the back of the house. Our home is large enough to accommodate you." Doming was thrilled and rushed to Wen Xia, declaring, "I'm no longer homeless. I have a place now." Wen Xia didn't acknowledge him, deliberately ignoring his enthusiasm. "Wen Xia," Doming asked, "will you accept me as your student?" Wen Xia immediately refused. "You think you know everything, but what could I possibly teach you? I cannot be your master." With that, Wen Xia slowly stood up and walked out of the room. "I have work to do," he said, his voice distant. As evening settled in, the family had dinner together. Later, everyone went to their respective rooms to sleep. The terrifying dream. That night, Xiang had a vivid and disturbing dream. The mysterious woman appeared again, and this time, she seemed to have fully taken control of Xiang. The woman laughed ominously as she recounted the horrors she had committed. In Xiang's dream, she saw the woman mercilessly killing many people. The nightmare was chilling, and Xiang awoke with a start. It was now morning, around 5 a.m. The noise outside caught her attention. Startled, Xiang rushed outside to see what was happening. A crowd had gathered at her doorstep, some people crying and others looking terrified. "Something's happened," one of them said. "Many people started dying suddenly. A woman was seen killing them." Xiang listened in shock as a woman cried, "My husband was killed by a woman last night. She was completely black, her face hidden, and she wore black and blue clothes. She crushed the garden with her hands." When they reached the bodies, the gruesome sight was clear. The victims' necks had been snapped, and strange handprints were left on them. The people around grew increasingly afraid. "Is this another attack from the demon plane?" one of the villagers asked. "Could it be someone with demonic powers? We need to catch them quickly." Xiang, shaken by the description of the woman's clothes, felt a chill run down her spine. She had seen a similar figure in her dream the previous night, a woman dressed in the same colors. The connection made her even more uneasy, but she said nothing. As the villagers speculated about the source of the killings, Xiang couldn't shake the feeling that the dream and the events unfolding were somehow connected.
Published by Chereds. When Xiang heard their words, she was completely shocked because everything she had dreamed of was becoming a reality. She couldn't understand anything and grew increasingly nervous. Wen Xia noticed her discomfort. He looked at the women and reassured them, saying, "Don't worry, we will definitely catch the murderer." After they left, Wen Xia approached Xiang and asked, "Do you know anything about this? Why are you so nervous? What happened? If you're facing any problem, you can tell me. I'm your master." He gently held Zhang's hand, their proximity making Xiang panic. She quickly freed her hand, stepped back, and said, "It's nothing. I was just wondering if it was some kind of black energy or something else." At first, Xiang thought of telling him everything, but she held back, thinking, what if he starts hating me because I have black energy inside me? I should figure this out on my own first. Maybe it's just a nightmare. Determined to uncover the truth, she decided to visit the library. However, before she could leave, several gods from heaven arrived to take Wen Xia with them. Xiang stepped forward and said firmly, "My master told me you cannot take him away." She positioned herself in front of Wen Xia, ready to fight. Wen Xia stopped her gently and said, "Don't worry. Nothing has happened to me. Maybe they've summoned me for some task. Wait here, I'll return soon." Xiang replied, "Then I will come with you. I've grown stronger now, and I can help you protect everyone. Please, take me with you." At first, Wen Xia refused. But his friend, Huan, a god, intervened, saying, "Let her come with us." "But Xiang, you must follow all the rules there." Xiang nodded eagerly, "I will follow the rules, but I'm afraid. I'm just a mortal. Will I even be allowed in heaven?" Huan smiled reassuringly. "You'll be fine. You won't be able to stay there for long, but with the spiritual energy inside you, you can enter and remain for some time. You're Wen Xia's student, and you're already at the 4th stage of cultivation. With practice, you could even reach the 8th or 9th rank. Then, you could become immortal and roam freely. With that, Huan said, "Come now, it's time to leave." Shang quickly grabbed Wen Xia's hand and said, "I don't trust anyone except you." Hearing this, everyone laughed as they prepared to leave. They mounted their swords and flew to the gates of heaven. The gate was heavily guarded, with barriers that could burn any member of the demon clan who dared to enter. Shang became nervous upon hearing this, but the gods entered smoothly. When it was Shang and Wen Xia's turn, Shang hesitated. Wen Xia held her hand and said, "Don't worry, I'm with you." As they approached the gate, a sudden flash of light startled them. They both stepped back, confused. When they tried again, the light calmed, and they passed through successfully. However, the light had drawn a crowd. People stared at them, whispering and speculating that someone with demonic energy might have entered. As they entered, Shang smiled nervously at everyone, but 2 elderly men stepped forward. "How dare you bring a mortal here?" one said sternly. "Don't you know no ordinary girl can enter heaven?" Hearing this, Shang grew furious. "I am not an ordinary girl," she declared. "I am my master's disciple, a cultivator, and a skilled one at that." Her words caused a beautiful woman, clad in striking red robes, to laugh loudly. She was the Queen of Heaven, her presence commanding and regal.